Hello everyone, I'm Ryan Parks and you're watching my tutorial series focusing on the one and only Mesa Tri-Bass. Today I'm going to go over how to get the infamous wub wub sound in dubstep in Ableton synths and actually any synth. Of course, every synth that you come across is going to be laid out a little bit differently, but the method for setting up the wub wub sound will remain pretty consistent. So, the big secret, in order to get this sound, you are using a beat-synced LFO to control a low-pass filter on the synth. This is all within the synth, no extra plugins required. So setting this up actually causes your filter to move up and down the frequency spectrum to the beat of your song. That said, I will show you where to find all these parameters in Ableton's native synths. So I'm going to start with Ableton's analog. I'm also going to pull in a pitch plugin so I can adjust the pitch because I'm playing back with my keyboard here and there's only an octave range. Let's just take a look at the layout of this plugin. The sound comes from the oscillator, passes to the filter, gives you some more control of the amp, and then of course here's the LFO. So to get the wub wub sound, we're going to need both the filter and the LFO. Here are the different kinds of filters you have to choose from. We're going to use a low pass 24. So as you can see in analog, there are 2 oscillators and 2 filters and 2 amps. We're only going to use 1 for now, and in this filter column it allows you to pass the sound from filter 1 to filter 2. We can turn that off for now. Put that to 0. And of course, let's turn on our LFO. So as you can see, under the LFO we have the rate, which is now measured in hertz. To get the wub wub sound, we're going to want to turn it to the beat synced rate. Now as you can see, as I slide this knob up and down, it jumps to beat synced rates. Now all that's left to do is to tell the filter to respond to the LFO we just set up. Under the filter settings in analog, the LFO can control both the frequency and the resonance. Pull the frequency up to full. Now you can hear as I move the rate knob, the sound changes. Of course I'm making this only from a sine wave, but if you start with a preset you can get something that sounds a lot cooler. All that's left to do is MIDI map the rate on analog to your Tri-Bass. Select MIDI, click on rate, and then select the axis on your Tri-Bass you would like to MIDI map it to. I'd also like to mention that many of these rate ranges are pretty extreme. You can adjust them in the MIDI column by clicking on MIDI and changing the values on these minimum and maximum settings. I like to set the minimum to 1, and the max I can pull down to perhaps 1/16 triplets. Next, let's check out the operator plugin. Let's note some difference between operator and analog. You can see that there are 4 different oscillators in this plugin. We also see the LFO is here and the filter is here. Let's turn on the LFO. We can change the filter once again to the low 24 decibel. And in this plugin, the routing for the LFO is here. As you can see, A, B, C, D, and FIL for filter. So we're going to enable the filter as a destination for this LFO. We can also see that the rate is preset to hertz. So let's change that to sync. And as you can see now it's fractions of the beat. And here they have an amount knob, so I like to set that to 100. Let's take a listen to what this sounds like. Once again, not too exciting, but if you change around the settings in these oscillators, you can get some pretty cool stuff. You can also get the wub wub effect by using sampler. Let's actually pull in a preset for this one. As you can see, the layout for sampler is quite different from the other two. We have our filter under a filter tab here, and our LFO is under modulation. Let's change our filter to a low pass 24. And under modulation, let's set the destination for filter to max. Also here under LFO, let's once again change the rate to synced. So as you can see, if you mess with the settings in the filter, you can change how the wub wub sounds. And remember, we always want to map the rate of our LFO to the Tri-Bass. Let's pull in a bass preset from the tension plugin. Here we can see we have our filter already set to low pass, but our LFO is disabled. Let's enable it, set it to a synced rate, and let's turn it on under the filter. Pretty basic concept once you get the fundamentals. So I hope this video has been helpful for you dubstep freaks out there. Remember to subscribe to this channel to get the latest updates on all the Tri-Bass videos. Thanks for watching, have fun!